All right, guys, welcome back. Game number 4 of the evening, almost halfway done with the finals tournament for the Auzom Premier League Season 2 North American Finals. I'm the Real Esquire, joined here on the casting desk for this last game by Cameron Davis, Mustache Dave on desk, and Skyline on production. Cameron, a wonderful set of games so far in the evening. I'm expecting us to close out for tonight's games just the same as our plan is now coming out.
Ooh, this plan's actually a little steep. It could be worse, but that southwestern corner especially could be a little rough to get to. And I'm looking at where the usual car spawns are, and there aren't that many en route to that spot. So they're either gonna have to drop super early around basically right now around Razak, or take a long drop over there. But let's see how those teams in that corner are going to be interacting with this circle. Quickly though, I am going to go over the scoreboard because it has been updated in totality. They did do it. They jumped all the way from 7th up to 1st place, but they were only ahead by 30 points. FlyQuest still in 2nd. Totality was 614, FlyQuest with 595, and then Team Gates, God Squad, and Space Station rounding out the top 5 in that order. The lead has started to grow though. That slope from 8th up has started to get steeper and steeper.
Yeah, where we, after game 2, we essentially had a 100-point gap from 1st to about 8th place. We now have almost a 300-point gap. So certainly teams are beginning to establish their placements on this leaderboard as it continues to develop, as we continue to play more games towards that 8-game quota that we have set forward for the Auzom Premier League Season 2 NA Finals. But looking at this map, something that you mentioned, Cameron, this southwestern corner, very, very far stretch for any of the teams that want to go there. And we've seen a lot of squads kind of favoring this position, Wildcard being one of them that likes that Primorsk area. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they adjust from, given the fact that not only were they very far from the southwest corner, a lot of these car spawns just weren't on any really accessible paths from that plane.
Walking right now from Nova, grabbing a boat. There's another one right next to him as well. And so the rest of Nova should be easily making their way across to Novo yet again. Same thing for God Squad. Maybe finding some boats. And they found at least one vehicle to drive across the bridge if they need to. But look up here. Yeah, Yasnaya, these two teams are sharing it once again. We didn't really see them come to blows on game number 3. But that may change this time. I don't expect it to.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, certainly these squads are now aware that, that each other are landing in this Yasnaya area. And this actually isn't an area where totality really gets contested a lot of the time. Usually they have this to themselves. But that circle is coming out, and it's going to be a southeastern air angle circle. A little bit of Military Island is going to be in this. So Nova and the rest of the God Squad, who are kind of opting for this Military Island loot phase, are going to be in a good position to loot up and not have any sense of urgency, not having to make any of these transitions. Wildcard, though, man, all the way on that west coast, did not for that Primorsk traveling endeavor, but they are certainly going to have quite a rotation ahead of them.
They found a car at least. So they have that in their favor. One vehicle, though, and oh, no, this actually could be bad. Zampa is getting his way to a compound. If he quickly finds a gun in that building, he could be in position to get some heavy damage onto Wildcard, depending on the slope of this coast, and it seems to actually be pretty flat. Looks like the timing is in Wildcard's favor, but they're stopping for a buggy. I don't know if Zampa's going to be in a position to really punish this, though. He is running outside. He is taking the shots. Onto the buggy. Buggy's trying to drive off. Not too many of them land. He's getting back onto the coast, using that slope for at least a little bit of cover. One bullet did hit the hull of that vehicle, but Wildcard, they do miss taking any more damage than that. Just a little bit.
Yeah, risky endeavor indeed to stop and get that car, unaware of Zampa's presence, giving Zampa that sort of renewed opportunity. Didn't get a chance to get shots out at the original car passing by him, but once they stopped to get that buggy, Zampa saw the opportunity and began to take those shots. Still too early game to really have enough gear or optics or even really the weapons to fend off that squad of Wildcard, who is currently heading south towards that Primorsk area, possibly just going there for the familiarity aspect of it. But looking at this map and where this circle is, Purdy from Totality, our first place finishing team from game number 3, is in a beautiful position.
Yeah, he left really early, and Totality, we know that they like to send 1 or 2 players out to find to stake a spot in the circle, and he finds a nice one for himself. Right now, though, we're going to be looking at Core 4 Teflon swaps over from. I'm assuming that's a 3-wheeler because I wouldn't swap from a 2-wheeler to a buggy. Yeah, okay, yeah, that is the case. He's grabbing a buggy with that. Buggy is risky of its own merit, though, but he is finding a more central spot for himself as well as E United. Looking at Space Station, though, they are one of the teams that usually goes to the southwest corner. They didn't go there. They went to the Povka rather than Ferry Pier. They judged that the plane route was not really good for them to go to Ferry Pier, and they also recognize that no one else in the Povka, which also puts them in a good spot for this first circle.
Yeah, it certainly does. Crate coming out, going to be dropping just to the east of Shelter. We'll see what's inside. It's going to be an AUG with a suppressor for that bad boy, level 3 vest, and a painkiller to boot. Not a bad crate if you happen to stumble against or upon it, but again, certainly not something that you would want to risk your team's placement trying to get, as the M416 and other guns are still very powerful. Totality's Purdy still in that location. It's going to be calling down Smithy. Smithy rotating off of his previous position, leaving behind Interrogate in that Yasnaya Polyana area, as Smithy is going to be approaching Purdy's location shortly, directly to the southeast of Totality, though, is, I believe, Render Esports, with Set to Destroy directly to the east of them in the Milta Power area. Smithy in that very dangerous 3-seater bike is going to be taking shots from Jimmer. Jimmer connecting, taking Smithy down, going to get the knock, and Smithy a little too separated from Purdy to get any sort of support, and Jimmer is going to be taking him out. First player of the game going down.
Tried to route around, but still wanted to get to Purdy a little too fast, it seems, as he drives so close to Shelter. Jimmer gets those easy shots, and Jimmer may still be close enough to go pick up that loot, but considering he's the only player of E United in that location for now, he doesn't want to move and potentially give it up. Geist right now, just to the north of them in that warehouse in Big Blue, gonna be leaving that spot, and they may just be wanting to hold down Shelter as a full group of 4, but they're gonna have to worry though, because FlyQuest are currently en route to that same spot. Jimmer needs to peek out soon and to stop them from coming out of their position. He does do that, lands a couple shots into something, who routes back down south. Can't hit a bike as easily as he can a was it a Dacia that Totality was in? Nonetheless, he's not going to get down on that, but it does still force their position away. It actually separates something in Microfry. This puts something really close to Purdy. I don't know if Purdy has revealed himself just yet. Something may be calling in help from the rest of his team, may be pushing on this solo player of Totality as a full squad.
Yeah, a lot of squads kind of congregating on this position right now. The rest of E United rotating back towards Jimmer. Core 4 kind of forming up a little bit to the north of that. Tony V and Interrogate now opting to get off of that Yosnaya Poyana area and get down to Purdy after realizing the fact that Smithy's down now. 3 players remaining. They need to be together. No 2-2 splits in Totality's future as far as I can see, but they still have 3 men up. So a strong squad can still operate well and get a good placement off of this 4th game. But something now is going to spot out Purdy, taking some shots. Blue and another teammate from that FlyQuest squad are now coming onto this building. Tony V being called in for support. Purdy getting knocked in the process, though. A all-out brawl is erupting around this building that Totality's Purdy previously held uncontested.
Yeah, Tony V realizes that this is a mistake to commit as a lone player, trying to be the lone support. They already lost 1 player early in the game. They just lost a second. And so they're going to have to stay alive as 2, and they're pulling off this position. Tony V and Taro driving now down south, going to take the west of the Milta cross compounds, it seems. And they're giving up this position for FlyQuest, but a team that just won game number 3 with a good amount of kills as well, going down to only 2 at this point is quite disappointing, and it's really going to temper how they play this 4th game.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, isn't as much of a handicap as possibly being, a 1 player or dual player in these squad games. But I mean, looking at this Core 4 now getting rushed on, Team Gates rotating off of the northern point just directly by them, going to be taking a few shots but not connecting, pretty much just securing this compound. Biz on the motorcycle going to be bailing out of there towards the southeastern coast from where they were previously located. Mossy and Silo going to be trailing behind, possibly giving this Core 4 squad another opportunity at shots.
So I'm looking at the circle right now, and so there is a little bit of water in it, but also past that, Lumber Mill, not many people are going to want to go on the eastern side. Not only is that already held down by Space Station Gaming, but if the circle swings off of that east side, rotations are going to be rough back over Lumber Mill, and very few people will also want to be on the north of Prison as well. So there actually isn't that much super prime real estate available compared to other circles. Other people may be forced on these edge positions, as we've seen before, because of pressure in the center. But we already see quite a number of teams get really close to each other.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, as these poke shots continue to come out from these squads, spotting each other in these rotations, I mean, they're going to become more and more aware of where these teams are starting to seek up shelter. E United now is starting to reunite into a four-man squad, currently a little bit in a 2-2 split directly to the southeast of that core four squad. Team Envious coming along the coast right now, scout out, going directly into Nerf B Please and land Dune of Nova. Shots now coming out, going to send Check Shooter directly in a U-turn, heading out in the other direction, trying to avoid these shots on the motorcycle. Not a field that you want to be in, especially on a motorcycle. A lot of bumps and little divots in that area.
That one particularly is quite dangerous, especially if you get any closer to where Nova are holding down. Nova holding a nice spot on this bridge camp could come into contact with Pat Caps and the rest of God Squad coming in from military base, but they also could just make the decision to swim across and avoid. But if God Squad do that, I'm not going to have any vehicles for the rest of the game, so they may have to go across the bridge, which could be bad if they don't spot out Nova's camp soon enough.
Yeah, certainly could be bad. VTV of Set to Destroy is going to be split off from the other three teammates of this squad using the sniper tower and a little bit of a elevated vantage point to try to get some information down to his squad to the south. They're, they don't have the height. They don't have the ability to really get this information out. So I like what they're doing right now. Still close enough to where they can provide lines of sight and fire lines with their guns onto any enemies that present themselves, but also able to get that information that they would be unable to if they were in a full group right there. But looking at this blue zone, almost done, pushing in on our players, going to reveal our second circle of the game very shortly, and whether or not these teams who are all in the center of the first circle of game number 4 on the night are going to have to move. I mean, only time will tell, but it will be very chaotic if they have to do so.
Only a couple more moments, and we still see people in the middle of their rotation out. It's the expected parties. Wildcard, Tempo Storm, and Cloud9. This is usually what we expect them to do, especially Wildcard having a late rotation to their looting path. But this circle is going to stay pretty centered. It's going to stay on basically everyone who took a center spot. So no one's going to be too upset about this, too disappointed, because those players on the edge are fully prepared to have to rotate. And they don't even have to rotate that far. They just have to go to the center of the map. Vitality you saw spreading out a little bit. It's just a 1-1 split. There's only 2 of them alive, but a little bit of fight right now because Rift does get spotted up by Dash 32. That kill should be finalized, and Fignato is not in a position to immediately trade out. So early into this game, these two squads are coming into contact with each other. Vitality also trying to chime in from on top of that hill. Tony V sending out some shots onto Fignato. This pushes him in onto the compound currently held by Dash.
Yeah, this is going to be Set to Destroy, engaging onto Render Esports. Two squads were looting previously. They landed near each other. Milta Power for Set to Destroy and Render Esports and the actual Milta City. So they're going to be now pushing into the first floor. Fignaldo and Sharu for Set to Destroy. We've got Dash on the roof right now. His two teammates are going to be directly to the north up on the hill trying to provide some over support. But Benlong ends up getting taken down. Fignaldo connecting with a beautiful headshot with the Scar onto him. So no help is going to be coming from there as Dash is now trying to spot out any players that he can see, but he's not going to have the advantage that he needs. Sharu and Fignaldo still on the first floor of this building.
A bit of an overcommitment in that fight because it really was just a 2v1. Dash wasn't in any position to help Ben Long out, and now he's not in a position to get the res either unless he gets a quick 2 kills, and that's only going to happen if these two members of Set to Destroy push up onto him. He's holding a nice angle through that window, and he hears the steps come up. Helmet peeks for just a second, takes a pre-fire, but gives his position away. Shiro also just runs out, gets the clear finish, taking virtually no damage, and now Render Esports, they're down to 2 members, I think.
Yeah, 2 members remaining, and they're directly to the north of them. So they pretty much had to watch this happen, unable to really provide any support, still having to keep their eyes on this compound directly to the southwest where Totality, the remaining 2 members for Totality, are occupying.
We saw momentarily a little bit of fight on the northwestern edge between Tempo and Cloud9. Duel not too far away from it, but these teams are all separating from each other. It's been rough rotations for most of them, namely Tempo Storm and Cloud9, who are both sitting at the bottom 2 spots on the leaderboard. And so neither of them want to fight if they do not absolutely have to. But Duel could punish Cloud9 for getting too close to them. I don't know if Cloud9 know where Duel are. Duel are on foot though, so the transitions are a little on the slower side. They may not want to stop to try and take even any pot shots onto Cloud9 because Cloud9 with their vehicles could easily circumvent themselves, put themselves in front of Duel, and then gatekeep them. But it looks like they're getting a little too close to avoid any conflict right now. Zark sending out some shots, does get a drop onto Elusive, trying to get some more, pushing down. Can't find another angle onto Solid. Solid now continues to go south, but they lose Elusive no matter what.
Yeah, no way for them to provide any support, any and
There's two more!
Coming out, Frolicker and Moody going down, leaving solid FPS as the solo player remaining for Cloud9. Not what they wanted to happen, not what we wanted to see happen for them. A dangerous rotation indeed. Solid FPS going to be able to escape with his life and now has to vie for a solid placement for his team, avoiding going out in 16th for the time being. 16 teams remaining, 56 players alive. So 8 players have been whittled out of this map. Game number 4 so far. But, Cam, it's only going to get more and more dangerous as the circle shrinks. Blue Zone almost done with its transition.
Cloud9 made a similar transition like this on game number 2, I believe, and it didn't work out too well for them. Let's see if it works out better for Solid. He is a solo player, which means that he needs to take things very, very carefully, and that is why you see him pop out. Oh!
Wow.
Okay! An
Little
angle
Prodigy.
held by Little Prodigy was just all that he needed to get one bullet in the head of the final player of Cloud9, and so early into the game, Cloud9 go out in 16th place.
Yeah, solid FPS, escaping death over on the western portion of the circle. Unfortunately, just ran into the lines of sight. A dangerous player. Little Prodigy with the Car 98 connects with a shot and wipes out Cloud9. 15 teams now remaining, 55 players alive. Next circle is up, favoring the southeastern portion of the previous circle. Teams beginning to rotate and try to fight for this centralized area. Space Station Gaming and Set to Destroyer colliding on the same compound.
A little rough for them. But here it comes back up from Frignodal in a little bit of a spicy fashion. He's going to run up the side, tries to find an angle, but can't hit enough of the shots. There he goes, does finally get it, but takes a chunk of health of his own. While doing that, and a repeat comes out, he comes down to about 5 HP, has to run inside the building to heal up, because Huynh is here on the flank trying to throw a nade. Isn't going to make his way through the window. I think it does. His Frignodal has to make the run out, but he is able to avoid the blast. Gets up close. It's just the trailer between them. Trades back and forth between Shiro and Huynh. It's just Smurf right now, who drops Frignodal very, very low, but can't get the full-on kill. No, he does, I think. What's going on? VTV is the only one left.
Yeah, VTV is the only one left for the Set to Destroy squad, bombing onto this compound with Space Station Gaming. Gets connected on and taken out of the game by Vexel. So this is going to be a huge come up for this Space Station Gaming squad. A very dangerous situation that they found themselves in. Able to come up clutch, lost a little bit in the process, but can come out with their lives, not ending up going out in 15th place. They did not want to do that, but Team Gates now approaching them on their eastern flank, and they need to be aware of this position. This next circle forced a lot of these teams to sort of get out of where they previously were. So possibly positions being unknown until shots or visual cues come out.
Yeah, I was saying earlier how this part of the map was one of the couple of parts that are going to be quite empty, and that just means that everyone, when this next circle revealed itself, had to be on the transition. Many players trying to go through Milta. You see Milta share it a little bit because once they locked in, it makes it more difficult to leave. Right now, it's E United actually on the yellows close to power, but here comes Tempo Storm. We saw them disengage not too long ago from Cloud9, made a long loop around, and now they're actually in a really decent spot. Basically one of the solo occupiers of this side of the circle other than E United. And if they swing any more south, they can be isolated from the majority of combat until the late game.
Yeah, certainly a good position for them to be in. And yeah, Cameron, like you were saying, if they swing south, they're going to be coming up behind a few squads that certainly wouldn't be aware of their presence unless they engage in any battles. Zampa getting dangerously close to E United, as well as this Set to Destroy squad in this compound, makes it to a compound of his own and tries to get in the building, but doesn't make it in time and gets knocked out. He's going to need the remaining players of Tempo Storm to haul over to this building to provide that support. Your boy Dre bombing into this building. BenQ5 trailing just behind Maluk. 3 members up still for this squad are going to be able to get Zampa up.
They weren't comfortable with being so far on the edge with such a potential rough transition ahead of them, so they tried to find a compound that was more central, but they ended up driving through a crossfire between E United and Team Gates. They're able to get the revive onto Zampa, so they're going to stay 4 strong, but it's going to eat through a little bit of their utility, and they have to make sure that they don't over peak those same spots. Right now, we got Duel. They found themselves a vehicle. They actually stole this one from Cloud9, I believe, and now they're all grouped up into one road trip driving north. They got to find another way to get inside the circle because the edges are once again really, really occupied.
Yeah, really occupied, but unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to find an easy. Well, we have got Wildcard Gaming taking some shots over there at Shoot to Kill, and directly to the east of them is E United. To the south of E United is actually Tempo Storm 2. So a very, very tough path ahead of Wooly and the rest of his squad right now for Duel. And with that blue zone done, approaching, next circle is out, going to be favoring the southwestern portion of the previous circle, including a little bit of Milta, but really centering on that field directly to the east of Milta proper. Totality Tarot in a beautiful position right now. A shack, given the fact that they only had 2 members remaining, I don't mind this position. Taro's in a good spot to play this solo game.
Yeah, it depends if he's going to get pushed or not, but if he does get pushed by another team, there's going to be a lot of angles from the hills to the north and the city of Milta to watch over him right now. We got a couple of players of Render Esports trying to pop out while Junior's legs taking out very low, but no, he loses everyone. The car goes up in flames as a memorial, and Render are now out in 14th place. A lot of these teams still on the northern basically crest of the circle have to make the rotation in. Here comes a fancy rotation from Biz, trying to get some air on his way in. Parks the vehicle inside the building for extra cover, hides in the corner, pops a Sody Pop to get those final boosts up. Mortify from Team Gates as well tries to join up with them, but he's not gonna be able to do so successfully, as Pistola Time is the one to take him down. Pat Caps and the rest of God Squad in a nice corner using some chest-high walls to gather control of this part of the map.
Yeah, and it's just Biz and Mossy left for Team Gates. I believe Mossy very separate. Biz in not a great position to provide support as his teammate just got taken out. Low Prodigy, the rest of the God Squad directly to the south of this, but EU's Geist is taking a lot of shots right now, trying to escape in this Dacia, able to do so, but crashes into a tree. Totality's Interrogate's going to be aware of his presence now. Geist trying to do anything that he can to avoid these shots coming out of Space Station Gaming in this compound that we saw them overtake earlier. This is going to be Tamai connecting with the shots, gets the down, and I believe the kill was stolen away by Smurf.
Yeah, actually, Space Station, they've been in a really strong spot this whole time, trying to deal damage as much as they could to a lot of the circle. Here comes the Team Gates. Are they going to be more successful than their fallen compatriot? It does seem to be the case. So it's going to be 3 of them if Mossy kicking it inside. Just limping, like his arm is hanging off by the bone, but they are able to get the healing up in this building. Gonna be interesting to see what happens though when this next circle closes, as Milta may or may not be inside the preceding one. Tomai from Wildcard, he's got his teammate right next to him, but they're making their run in towards a compound held by FlyQuest.
You know, FlyQuest holding this compound too strong. Something and Los HD are going to be in this garage building, a very defensible building, as long as they don't get caught out by Tumai, who's certainly trying to play spoiler there on the northeastern edge of that building. But shots are ringing out just above them on the mountain to the north. Zarg now trying to throw some grenades, possibly seeing Tumai, but a beautiful nade nonetheless, going to be landing almost directly on top of him. Doesn't connect with the damage that was intended, however, as 2 members are down for this dual squad directly to the north of this engagement. Possibly Tumai not even being spotted out. I don't think that was intended for Tumai.
No, I don't think so, because it's dual up towards the north that have been pushing in this entire time. Pentalol on the back flank does get taken out, but there are still 2 remaining members left up close and inside the zone, so they don't need to move just yet, but that is not going to be the case for much longer. What they can bank on, though, is that FlyQuest are in a split of their own. If they can get a knock onto this building and get the rush down, they could potentially take it from them if they are aware of Tumai's position, but it doesn't even matter because everyone in that corner is going to have to move. The next circle lands itself on East Milta and the Milta field, so there is very little cover left outside of the city itself.
Yeah, Team Gates and the God Squad absolutely loving their position right now, pretty much favored in terms of the centralized locations. A few other squads very happy in their compounds. in Milta proper. Vexel going to be crashing into this shack for Space Station Gaming. He's got 2 other remaining members still alive for his team. H-Win to the northeast. Going to be taking some shots from this Tempo Storm squad to the direct east of that. But yeah, this northern side of the map, Cameron, like you mentioned, is going to be absolutely dangerous. This is a very far rotation transition phase that these squads are going to have to take, and they're going to have to go through quite the gauntlet to get there.
Yeah, Wooly lost his last teammate, Snark, and now he is the lone remaining member left of Duel. Got to make an arduous journey down into the circle. It's not going to be easy, even if he is somehow able to clear Wildcard and FlyQuest from this position on the map. FlyQuest, they know that there are more enemies in this area. Peeking around, peeking outside. They want to make sure that they clear their sides before they make the run out, but they don't want to stay too long. And so if something's going to jump out, get on the back of his teammate Spike, and him and the rest of the squad ahead of them are going to try and find some spot in this next circle. But as we mentioned, there is very, very little left. They may try and bomb it onto Terra's position. But Terra is actually peeking out as a lone member, trying to put pressure on them, trying to keep them from coming in, but takes too much damage, and he gets taken down.
Yeah, Interrogate getting taken down. Tony V not in a position to provide any support. He was very split off from Interrogate on the southwestern corner of this circle. We can still see him currently outside of this next safe zone. But yeah, tough loss for Totality there. Only 1 player left for them. Gonna have to buy for placement. 11 teams remaining. 34 players alive, Cameron, and we are in the crunch time game for the evening. These teams need to do whatever they can to get these placements. Tempo Storm engaged with H-Win from Space Station Gaming in this compound where a lot of engagements have previously broken out. Very, very strong force of Tempo Storm next to a solo player of H-Win. Smurf, though, inside the circle, able to provide some sort of support. Wooly taking a lot of shots for Duel on the hill directly to the north and gets taken out by Nova's Landoon.
But Tempo Storm, I'm sure they know if Win's here, but what Win can bake on, though, is that he has 2 teammates inside the zone right now, giving him some covering fire. And so really, he's on a nice position to then pincer Tempo Storm. And Tempo Storm, I think there's maybe a small corner of this compound that is in the next zone, but that's not going to be a comfortable corner nonetheless. They look in his position, they know that he's there, and so really he's just hanging out, trying to stall out Tempo Storm. Gonna throw a nade in the direction of Maluk. Don't know if he makes it inside here or not. It is! It's gonna land perfectly on top of him, finding an opening. That's actually gonna take him down. Gwyn gets can't get another actually, as he gets immediately traded out by BenQ5 and Pistola time from another angle. Gonna be an easy revive for Tempo Storm, and not a bad circle for them.
Yeah, I mean, H-Win goes down in the process, but leaves 2 members remaining for the Space Station Gaming squad, almost smack dab in the middle of this next safe zone. So they're in a very good position. I believe they're in that shack that Vexel was able to secure previously. So pretty much one of the only man-made cover opportunities to secure in this circle. They're going to be spotting out that Tempo Storm squad to the northeast, taking a few shots. Below Prodigy actually gets knocked by L2P Lush for core 4. So this is a 3-man squad now for the God Squad. Need to try to figure out what they are going to do here, but it looks like they're going to have the cover to get Low Prodigy up. Teflon TV trying to rotate off this to the south to try to get a flank on the rest of the squad. We see, I believe that's Nitrogen and Whalen just hauling, trying to get over there. No, not Nitrogen, but Whalen certainly in that car, getting a more secure position on this southern edge. Gonna have to rotate, though, through the God Squad to get there. So this is an engagement that we are going to see happen.
This is a very nice move here by Core 4 to not only put themselves in position to put pressure onto God Squad, but also isolating themselves from the rest of Milta because they don't want to be part of any of that nonsense. Little Prodigy stuck behind a tree, had to heal up, but now he spots the push coming, and he's going to try and escape, try and get over this hill, but don't know if it's going to be enough. I think the pan blocked maybe 1 shot, and that was the only shot that was needed. Going to prone down, going to heal up, but the rest of his team are in a position to give him some covering fire. No, he ended up taken down by Envy from a completely separate angle. But here comes the push from Core 4 just over this hill onto God Squad. God Squad are in a small little cluster, and so but they're inside a building, I believe. Just Drassel here on the southern separate shed. And this is gonna mean Core 4 gonna have to do a little more extra work if they want to usurp God Squad's position. Here he comes out. Multiple nades, attempt potentially. No, not should have pulled off of that one because saw Priscilla time peek the window. But now that the peek is pulled off, he's going to rush forward. But here comes Drassel out from the side. Nitrogen does get the drop on the Drassel, but he is so low and needs to get behind cover so he can heal up and wait for backup from the rest of his team. Shots also from Tempo Storm is putting pressure onto God Squad. Solo time still here in the circle. Oh no, Lush does get taken down by, I don't know who that was. Nitrogen. No, Nitrogen is going to be finishing off Drazzle. FlyQuest getting a lot of kills in here as well. It's just Pat Caps and Solo time here inside the building. Nitrogen does get finished off now. Tried to leap into the bedroom. And it's just 3 remaining because they're getting the pickup. But oh, no, Teflon back down. It's now back down to 2.
Yeah, Waylon still on the outside of the building trying to get a res on. Looks like he's going to be able to get it off to even the odds right here, and he's able to do it. Blue Zone pushing on the heels of Waylon right now. Lush gets taken down again. Waylon down to about 10% HP, and that is going to be it for Core 4. Waylon being taken out right now. Pistola time and one other member remaining for the God Squad in that building. And look at this next circle, Cameron. Everyone is going to have to push into this next zone. Smurf and the rest of Space Station Gaming not safe. God Squad has quite a road ahead of them as Jesse LOL gets taken out by the Blue Zone. And that is going to be it for Team Envious as well. Mossy for Team Gates now trying to bandage up and get some health back before this transition of their own off the western edge. I mean, this circle favors pretty much no one except for that FlyQuest member directly to the northwest.
And that player isn't even terribly favored because he has a bush. He's going to have to leave that bush in order to get to the next zone. If he stays prone and he drops his backpack, he can maybe be low enough to the ground that that small hill to his west may just be enough to hide him. But look how quiet everyone suddenly is. We saw so much action in this server the past minute because everyone having to leave Milta. But now that has been taken care of. Team Gates has been the team to solidify their spot as the winners of Milta. Everyone has to move. Mossy throwing a couple grenades with his teammates, grabbing some smokes, trying to make their way first into the zone and then try and gatekeep, but he spots out Space Station. Vexel's running around to try and not be a still target. Mossy still spots him out. He has to run back inside the shed, and this gives the opportunity for Gates to continue to push into the zone.
5 teams remaining, 11 players alive. Blues pushing in on the far northern safe zone. Shots are now coming out from Tempo Storm on the eastern edge. Going to get a Space Station Gaming, Biz, and the rest of Team Gates now pushing off of that western edge. The God Squad trying to figure out what they're going to do on the south. It's all out chaos right now as these teams are getting pushed into one another. Maluk getting a firm grasp onto the circle for Tempo Storm. Your boy Dre and Zampa coming up just off of that northern position as well. FlyQuest Blue trying to crawl in. Pistola time gets knocked off screen. That's going to be your boy Dre and Zampa coming up clutch with those shots onto the God Squad's member, leaving one person remaining on that team. Pat Caps trying to figure out how he's going to get out of here. The blue zone is ticking away at his health.
Gets a heal off just barely, but he's gonna have to continue to make a slow run. Tempo Storm doing a very good job of getting that first opening drop and then taking that opportunity to push themselves into the circle with a spread position to maintain control. Smurf now taken very low by the zone itself and actually finished off by Gates. So Silo, Mossy, and Biz left versus 3 members of Tempo Storm, and then that solo sneaky player of FlyQuest Blue, who moved only as much as he needed to. Tempo Storm may not be aware that he is so close to them, but they have the circle. The next circle swung north, slightly west, and they are in the perfect position to continue to hold it.
Yeah, a perfect position for actually Blue as well, being able to vie for this placement for his team. FlyQuest has been so consistent tonight, and it has been, pretty much at the task of solo players for them in this game and the third game of the evening. Shots are now coming out, though. Maluk taken down to about 30% HP, trying to engage onto Mossy from Team Gates. A little bit of trade comes out onto both players, but none enough to put the other down. Blue still biding his time, being very patient on the edge, this northwestern edge of the circle, lying in that prone position, not doing anything that he does not have to do yet, though. Just keeping an eye on these squads and keeping an ear on the shots around him.
You may not know this, but luckily for him, Gates have to push into Tempo Storm's real attention before he does, but the blue is still closing onto him, and even though he's on the slow side, he's just barely able to out-brawl it, slowly sneaking up. I don't know if Luke is going to be checking the angle, especially now because Gates are pushing forward. The first drop does go down. Scylla goes down as well. There's only one remaining for Gates. That's going to be Mossy. He's trying to stay prone as long as he can, but he gets discovered. And so now it's Tempo Storm left in a 1 versus 3. Blue, surely they're going to look behind them. Eventually, Blue knows that he's left in a very, very bad position. The jumps are coming in from Tempo Storm. Oh no, the blue touches Blue. Just barely. Now he has to stand. Tries to go for the hero play, but it's not going to be the case. Tempo Storm coming in from 15th place on the leaderboard. Take game number 4.
Yeah, huge finish for Tempo Storm right there. They needed it, they wanted it, and they executed on it and took it away. FlyQuest coming in with second place finish. That's going to be Team Gates with the third place finish on game number 4 of the evening. Vexel, Smurf, H-Win, and D-Master of Space Station Gaming coming in at 4th. Let's get Mustache Dave in here, break down game number 4, as well as all the games on the evening while we get ready for tomorrow's games. Going to be games 5 through 8 for this Auzom Premier League Season 2 North American Finals.
Gucci man.